Hello everybody and welcome one more time. My name is Alex Centeno and I'm with Mercal's Interactive Partners. And in this episode what we're going to be talking about is how to improve your average images. This is especially important for web designers because your web design quality is going to be very much dependent on the quality of the images that you use on it. So if you, for example, get an average quality image from one of your clients, you can take that average image and take it to the next level. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and some techniques of how to do that in Photoshop CS5. So let's go directly to Photoshop here, and this is an image that I took at the beach with an iPhone. So, and not even the iPhone 3GS, but just the regular iPhone 3G. So how do we improve this image? Well, the first thing that I want to do is I want to notice that I have a person here that is kind of not exactly improving my image there, and then I have some noise there. The image is extremely noisy because the iPhone is trying to capture as much light as possible, but the light is very limited. So that's precisely why I can see a lot of grain in the image, and that's perfectly fine for some images. For this one, I want to get rid of that. And pretty much just the overall color might need a little bit of a touch up. So let's start by getting rid of that noise. So go to filter, noise, and reduce noise. I usually don't use the reduce noise pan a lot, so I'm not even sure if in CS4 this feature was available. But now we can go to advanced, and you can see here that I can reduce the noise per channel. So I can actually click here, the option key, and click, and I can take a look at the different settings for each one of the channels and the noise amount in each one of the channels. So the red, I can see that the green has very little amount of noise compared to the red, and then the blue is a little bit noisier than the green. But basically the green, probably because it has more information than both of the red and the blue, it has less noise. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to definitely crank it up in the red. I'm going to just reduce as much as possible there. I'm going to come to the blue, and I'm going to give it a bit of strength as well. And in the green one is the one that I'm going to reduce it a little bit because it doesn't need it as much. However, I'm going to try to preserve the details in this one more than in any other one. Alright, that's looking pretty good, I think. In our image, you can see the difference already, especially in this corner. Look at how much. You probably can't see it in the screen, but in the screencast, but I can definitely see an amazing improvement over that amount of noise. So I'm going to click OK. And you can see that the improvement is fantastic already, but also when you apply noise reduction, sometimes you get rid of detail. So I'm going to apply a little bit of a unsharpening mask to make it a little bit sharper. I'm going to hit OK, and now I'm going to get rid of this man right here, and as you can see, I'm trying to get used to the zooming feature in Photoshop CS5. So I could get rid of that man with lots of different ways, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something that has been included in Photoshop CS5, and I'm going to select the man just as so, and I'm going to hit the delete key, and it's going to prompt me with the content aware fill, and I'm going to say OK. And as you can see, that looks pretty good right there. It has a little bit of the edge there that I can just pretty much blur there to make sure that it actually doesn't show. That's looking pretty good, and I can assure you that nobody would be able to tell that there was a man right there. In fact, looks like, there you go. All right. Well, now the image is looking pretty good in terms of noise and in terms of not having the man right there, but still this image is just average in terms of color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a filter. Okay, so but before then I'm just going to control a little bit of the brightness of the waves here because they're a little bit lower in terms of brightness. So I'm going to select the Dutch tool there, and I'm going to create a little bit of brightness in those waves to bring them up a bit. That looks so much better, but what if I don't like it afterwards? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my background, and I'm going to apply the changes to that duplicate. That way, if I go too far, I can always bring down the effect a little bit by controlling the opacity of that layer. Okay, I'm going to do it a little bit here as well, and here. So now I can control the amount of the effect by controlling the opacity of that layer. That's a very nice technique there. Alright, that's looking pretty good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an adjustment layer with a photo filter. And in this case, I'm going to select something appropriate for that time of sunset, right? Something that looks very Miami Vice. So I'm going to use a violet. That's looking very good already. I'm going to do a little bit more intense violet and increase this to a good 75%. And I can click on and off to preserve the luminosity or not. In this case, I'm going to preserve the luminosity, and that's looking pretty good. Very good. Finally, I'm going to increase a little bit of the contrast of the image by doing another adjustment layer, and in this case I'm going to use the curves, and I'm going to come to the increase contrast one, which basically does the traditional S shape curve. You can see it right over there. We're perfect, and that's a little bit too much for my taste, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Just like so. Alright, that's looking fantastic. So as you can see, with probably five minutes of retouching this image, it has gone from an average image to something that is definitely going to pop up in it's going to give you a much better asset as part of your web design. So let me just go ahead and compare both of them just to show you. Look at the difference from there to there, from there to there. It's fantastic, the difference. I mean, this image definitely is going to provide you with more value for your client in your web design project. So I hope that that you've enjoyed it, and please remember to visit mercados.com, merkados.com, if you have any questions or comments, or if you're in need of web design or interactive marketing design for your business. Thank you. Have a good night.